The Tale of Two Brothers and the Hyena. Once upon a time, in a village nestled at the edge of a vast savanna, there lived two brothers, Juma and Kato. They were known throughout the village for their hard work and their strong bond. Though they were very different in personality, Juma being quiet and thoughtful, and Kato loud and adventurous, they always found a way to work together. The brothers were poor, but they had something more valuable than riches. They had each other. One day, as they were walking through the dry grasslands in search of firewood, they came across a large pot buried beneath an old baobab tree. To their amazement, the pot was filled with golden coins, shimmering in the sunlight. The brothers could hardly believe their luck. "This will change our lives forever," Kato exclaimed, grinning widely. "We must be careful," Juma warned. "Such fortune attracts danger, and we must protect it." The brothers decided to bury the treasure back under the baobab tree and return to it only when necessary. They agreed that neither would take any of the coins without consulting the other. Their bond of trust was strong, but what they didn't know was that someone had been watching them: Hyena, the greediest and most cunning creature in the savanna. The hyena had been hiding in the tall grass nearby, his ears twitching with excitement as he overheard the brothers' discovery. Gold, Hyena whispered to himself, licking his lips. "I must find a way to trick those foolish brothers and take it all for myself." The next day, while Juma stayed in the village, Kato decided to visit the treasure. Unbeknownst to him, Hyena had followed him through the savanna. As Kato uncovered the pot of gold, Hyena sprang from the bushes. "Ah, my dear Kato," Hyena said with a sly grin, his sharp teeth glinting. "You look like a clever young man, but why keep all this treasure to yourself? Surely it would be better if you didn't have to share it with your brother." Kato's eyes narrowed. "I would never betray my brother. We found this treasure together, and it belongs to both of us." Hyena chuckled. Of course. But what if you didn't have to share? Think of all the things you could have: riches, power, respect. You could live like a king." Kato hesitated for a moment. The idea was tempting, but then he remembered the long hours he and his brother had spent working side by side, helping each other through thick and thin. He shook his head firmly. "I won't betray Juma," Kato said, covering the pot once more. Hyena, seeing that Kato would not be easily swayed, decided to change his tactics. "Very well," he said, pretending to leave. "But perhaps your brother isn't as loyal as you think. What if he's planning to take the treasure for himself right now?" Kato paused. Could Juma be thinking the same thing? Doubt began to creep into his mind. Hyena slunk off to find Juma. He found him by the village well, gathering water. "Juma," Hyena said, his voice dripping with false sympathy, "I fear for you, my friend. Your brother Kato has been seen near the treasure. I think he plans to take it all for himself." Juma frowned. "That's not true. Kato would never do that." Hyena gave him a knowing look. "Are you sure? Brothers can sometimes surprise you. Maybe it's best if you claim the treasure for yourself before he does." Juma felt his stomach churn. The thought of Kato betraying him seemed impossible, but Hyena's words left a seed of doubt. "I'll go see for myself," Juma said, setting off toward the baobab tree. By the time Juma arrived, Kato was already there, pacing around the tree. Both brothers stared at each other, suspicion brewing between them. Hyena, hiding in the shadows, grinned with satisfaction. His plan to divide the brothers was working. "Why are you here, Kato?" Juma asked, his voice tense. "I could ask you the same thing," Kato replied. "You weren't planning to take the treasure without me, were you?" Juma scowled. "I should be asking you that." The brothers began to argue, their words growing harsher by the minute. As they argued, Hyena crept closer, ready to seize the treasure while the brothers were distracted. But then, in the heat of the argument, Juma paused. He looked at his brother and realized something important. Kato, he said, his voice softening. We're brothers. We've always worked together. We've always trusted each other. Why should we start doubting each other now? Kato blinked, the anger draining from his face. You're right. Hyena must have put these ideas in our heads. The brothers turned to see Hyena sneaking toward the treasure. Hyena! Juma shouted. You tried to trick us! Kato stepped forward, glaring at the greedy creature. You thought you could turn us against each other, but you underestimated our bond. Hyena froze, realizing his plan had failed. He slunk back into the shadows, muttering, Cursed brothers, you'll regret this. Juma and Kato laughed, feeling stronger than ever.